Cleopatra the 7th, 14th, vie for the throne of Egypt. Julius Caesar supports Cleopatra's claim, but is outnumbered and besieged at Alexandria. His ally, Mithridates of Pergamon, marches into Egypt to relieve him. Ptolemy, intending to defeat this army, travels down the Nile River to meet them. However, it is Caesar who finds Mithridates first, and leads a combined force against Ptolemy on the banks of the Nile.
Well, hello there, guys, and welcome to a Rome 2 battle. We haven't done one of these in quite a long time, and we are facing, of course, Cleopatra's brother Ptolemy as the combined forces of Rome and, I believe, some actual allies here to try and take out this pharaoh. Now, for those of you that don't know, all pharaohs were called Ptolemy. So this is Ptolemy the 14th, and it would have just continued like that, Ptolemy. It seemed to be quite a popular name. We're going to see how we do here in this battle. It is, I think, one where we're sieging the enemy, so it should be interesting to see if we manage to grab a victory from the hands of a defeat here.
Julius Caesar has joined forces with his allies and is marching on Ptolemy's army. Ptolemy's position is fortified by nature. His hilltop camp is guarded by the Nile to the east, steep terrain to the south, and surrounded by marshes. Caesar must find a way to overcome Ptolemy's superior position and put an end to the Alexandrine war.
Okay, well, there you go, guys. We heard it first. Now, one terrifying thing is that Ptolemy is right on top of a massive hill over here. Pretty well guarded position, as you can imagine. And I think approaching from just about any location is going to be kind of tough. We've obviously got to try and see if we can't beat him here. But I think the key to doing that is trying to get some of our troops behind the enemy over here, try to land them. But we've got some actual enemy ships approaching over here as well. So if I am going to bring my entire army forward, I am going to do it all at once, but I'm going to make sure that they are selected together, and at the very least, we're going to be waiting right here in this sort of forested position. It's actually really marshland, probably a lot of crocodiles around this area. Not exactly the most safe space for an army, but if we are going to attack, we're going to have to go up this hill, and that's the problem. I'm thinking we could use these less steep portions of the hill to sort of start our attack. Once Ptolemy starts coming downhill, we're going to have to find a way to, of course, knock him out. So I want to try to get as many missile troops as possible once we get up there and try to just rain down hell on his army from down below, and then, of course, move in for the coup de grace, cut off Ptolemy's head, present it to great Cleopatra as a gift, and end this brutal war. So here we go. We've got a few ships, and I want to make sure that the right guys are getting off on the ships. On one of these ships, we have a trebuchet, or an onager, excuse me. So I definitely think I want to get the exploding round here. It's kind of like an old-style battleship, and see if we can't start firing at some of these other Egyptian ships. They, of course, could come in right behind us and cause quite a lot of trouble. So let's try to get some of our men off on land over here. We'll go ahead and move them that way, and we'll bring this guy, the Assault Korem. I think the Assault Korem may assist us in stopping this ship from getting behind us, but we definitely want to try and drop most of these guys off to assist in this fight. Some beautiful scenery here, of course, as we approach Ptolemy's army, but once we get here, we've got to be prepared to go uphill for an attack. There's really no other way around. What I want to do is, with that onager, hopefully try and stop some of these ships coming towards us before they can cause too much damage. So we've got a flammable round. That's exactly the one I want, and I want to go for the central ship immediately, the heavy tower Octares, and see if we can't knock her out. We've also got the Assault Korem. I'm going to send the Assault Korem against this ship right here, the Missile Pentaris, but I really want to try to get this shot off immediately. So we're going to try once again. There we go. We're already firing our onager. Boom! A nice hit there. A lot of fire on the ship already. If we could set this bastard on fire, that would be the best. And actually look at the front of that ship. That is a sight to behold. Maybe we need to take some of these guys and go ahead and try to stop the enemy ship. So we can see that the enemy has missile fire coming down at us. They're definitely aware of us trying to flank them with a few units. I think with this assault quorum, we're going to go for another ship. Of course, I'm still trying to bombard that enemy ship as best I can. Knock her out, essentially. We'll try to board this ship and knock her out, but we're not going to stop firing with this flammable round. And eventually, we're going to have to focus on maybe getting on land, of course, and attacking a full frontal attack towards Ptolemy's position. So we're going to go back to our main army over here, and immediately I'm going to take the missile units here, start firing at some of the more dangerous units like, well, of course, the enemy onager, but they've got some cavalry over here, which could be quite deadly. We'll take this unit, of course, move him up as well, and just start picking off as much of the enemy forces as we can initially here before we send in the rest of our army. This could get pretty dicey, to say the least. I also have some elephants, and I wanted to use these elephants against the enemy cavalry. So hopefully that's what we can do. You can see they're firing with those onagers, and they're targeting the elephants, of course. They want to try to wipe out that elephant unit before it becomes too much of a burden. I'm going to take half of this army right here and move into this position I was talking about before. Very slowly. We're not running. We're not rushing. That's the last thing we want to do in this battle. Let's take the rest of these guys on the left and move up the steeper incline here. And of course, we are at a disadvantage. We're attacking uphill, but I'm hoping that our men have the will to win. As you can see, even our very heavy cohort just took a direct hit, but still 120 out of 120 men are alive. Those guys are going to get right back up. We've got some tough men in this particular army, guys. And that might be our saving grace. So I'm actually going to fire at the Ptolemaic cavalry. This is quite a dangerous unit. And hopefully they'll take the bait and try to charge downhill, at which point we might be able to stop them. It looks like Ptolemy's ships over here, though, have managed to do a pretty good job. I'm going to grab these three guys and move up behind the enemy. Hopefully we can put up a decent fight, but unfortunately, I think our onager ship is pretty much finished. Doesn't look like it's going to work out very well for us. Although we did manage to get the enemy ship on fire, it's still not enough to garner a victory, of course. So there we go. We've landed. We're moving as quickly as we can. The Battle of the Nile begins. All right, come on, archers. Really want to go for the cavalry because that cavalry going downhill is going to be pretty deadly. So we're trying to kill the heavy shock cavalry while we can. Come on, men. Beautiful. Even a few hits here on the enemy, and they're on a flank, which means that this would be, I think, a little easier for us to stop. Now, these are fireballs that the enemy can actually roll downhill. I'm pretty sure that they're going to attempt to use those when the time is right, especially when we get a little bit closer. Once again, I'm aiming at that Ptolemaic cavalry. I really want to weaken these units as much as I can. We might even go for the heavy shot. This would definitely pierce the Ptolemaic cavalry. The problem is that it's a heavy shot. It takes a lot longer to reload, of course. It's not as easy to use as our other forms of missiles, clearly. So here we go with the heavy shot. Let's see if we can knock this out. At least kill a few of these horses. Definitely looks like we're startling them, but we're not killing any so far. Although some damage goes a long way. And these guys are almost up the hill. They're probably going to have to face a force of Ptolemy's men immediately. I am going to keep firing at the Ptolemaic cavalry. And once this infantry gets up here on the hill, I'm going to consider going ahead and launching a full-out assault. I do want to see where my elephants are, because I think they can pretty much rattle the enemy. At least, you know, cause some confusion amongst their ranks. Once we start causing confusion, I'm probably going to pause, because that's when I'm going to send everybody in. And there we go. We've already got some Ptolemaic forces marching down the hill. We're actually going to slow down here. And that is the light melee cavalry. So I'm going to see if our heavy cavalry can go ahead and counter them. Even though we're going uphill, we should be able to do a lot of damage. We'll keep our legatus back. I don't want him getting killed. That would be terrible. But I'm hoping that our heavy cavalry here, despite going uphill, can do some serious damage to the enemy. Now, they have camels, and unfortunately, from what I know, horses are terrified of camels. I don't know why that is. It might be the hump on their back, but we're going to go ahead, and like I said, we're doing slow motion here just to see the effects. Of course, we're going to continue moving forward with our legions, and immediately go ahead, charge here. All right, here we go. We've got our elephants. We're going to charge into these chariots. We'll get back to regular speed temporarily. And I am going to put the Stampede option on. So they are going to go absolutely insane trying to defeat these chariots. A bunch of the enemy is moving down the hill, including a massive amount of enemy elephants. So I want to see if we can kill these elephants before they reach us. And we'll, of course, send the Royal Hoplites, I believe. The Royal Shock Cavalry, rather. Yes, and try to get behind these elephants. They're, of course, charging down the hill on us. Pretty dangerous foe. We can see that, yes, already some of our men are retreating. We're going to have to go ahead and begin the charge with everything we've got here. And the battle is beginning in earnest. It does look like the very heavy chariots have fallen. That's good news for us, but they've got plenty more scythe chariots here. And the trick is to get them into locked combat so that we don't have to deal with actually fighting them in terms of a charge. We can just fight them right here man to man, which I think is going to be the most successful way of defeating the enemy. Let's actually get our very heavy cavalry here behind the enemy and charge right down on the very heavy shock cavalry, the Ptolemaic cavalry we've been firing at initially. And look at that. As well as, yes, the very heavy shock cavalry is apparently also there with some medium melee infantry. We're definitely going to put as much damage on them as possible. And we will continue moving forward. Again, I'm doing this piecemeal. I'm really not trying to attack all at once. I'm just doing this little by little. We'll go ahead and see if we can charge into the Egyptian pikemen. The real important thing with the elephants is to get a charge going. And right now we're stuck here because of these Egyptian infantry. So we definitely want to try and get up there quickly. So I'm going to grab my light missile cavalry. And instead of going for a missile attack, I'm going to go for a melee attack right on their flanks. They've destroyed our elephants. So you know what? We're switching back to missile attack. We have to change things quite quickly here. Fire! Come on, boys. Let's go. We don't want to go for the spearmen, but getting behind them is probably something that would help. And there we go. Our legions are doing a great job here, but I've got to get behind those pikemen and try to wipe them out. That's one of Ptolemy's main forces here in this battle, of course. And he's got a lot of missile units. So here we go, smashing into the back of this spear unit. Oh, yes, that's what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And we might have already caused the spear units to withdraw a little bit, or at least rethink their position. And we've got a bunch more legions here ready to join the fight. We're going to send them right in. And I will bring our legatus up very soon here to assist. But right now, I'm just going up the hill here as quickly as I can. Our missile cavalry still firing, of course. Let's get that legatus forward and see if we can get some Roman authority over here. And they haven't thrown those flaming rounds down the cliff, which is really a good thing. But one thing we need to do, of course, get this very heavy melee cavalry to flank the enemy. I've got my Roman general here. I'm going to go ahead and inspire some of the frontline troops. Charge to the back of the medium pike infantry. We want to finish them off, and as long as those pikes aren't aimed at us, they're not going to be hurting our horses. All right, come on, boys. You can do this. Rally. We shall defeat the enemy. I don't like that the enemy got behind us here. This is a little scary, but I've actually got one way to fix this, and that's just going to be to take the auxiliary camel archers, turn them into a temporary attack unit, and we've also got some more cohorts that we could use. In fact, we've got a bunch over here that we can bring around to attack the enemy. Let's go ahead and see if we can get behind them. There we go. Smashing into the enemy to try to save our legatus. Whatever happened to the guys coming up the hill, I'm pretty sure they've been repulsed. And indeed, I think they have. But we shouldn't give up yet. Of course, we've got to get behind the enemy here with some of our legatus and charge right in the back of them. Once these phalanxes have been breached, I think we're going to be in a much better position to dictate terms. So here we go. We're breaching the back with some legionaries and some cavalry. Power of the legions amazes all. And there we go. Already the enemy is terrified here. I don't think they feel so confident now, but they are getting close to our legatus, and obviously if he dies, I think pretty clearly we die. Now they're turning towards us, but we've got them surrounded on all sides, and this is just a massacre of these phalanx units, which we're going to make short work of as long as our men can work together here. Keep killing them, boys. Victory must be ours. Got a few more units down there, but apparently... Let's take a look at what's happening here. We did have a unit. It might just have been the enemy unit. Never mind. We do have some of these units which we can move up. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to also try to chase. This is never recommended. We're going to try to chase some of the archers. And there we go. There's one of our units. We want to probably go for the heavy onagers. And these archers are probably going to get out of the way very quickly if we do charge them, which is why we are going to need to use the power of our cavalry to really finish them off. But right now we're throwing everybody into the attack, even our legatus. Come on, legatus. Show them the power of Rome. And we'll actually take our heavy melee cavalry right here. Go straight for the archers. Looks like they're running away as quickly as they can, but we might be able to catch a few of them. Definitely caught the onager men, and they are going to take off. Not very well equipped. Come on, Romans. Show them we mean business. Of course, if you guys are enjoying this Let's Play, don't forget to hit that like button. If you like these historical battles, make sure to let me know. That's how we know to continue them, of course. Let's see how we're doing against that that unit, and it looks like we've broken through. Now it's all about chasing the enemy down. We will keep the legatus back. We'll definitely take a look at the dead on the field, but now we're charging uphill with all of our units to try and capture these missile units. You can see a bunch of them already running away, and definitely not a battle where we lost few men. We lost many men in this battle, and they will be remembered. But to put Cleopatra in power, I think it's essential. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to charge here. We're not just using missile units, or not just using our missile cavalry for missile fire. We're using them to charge and stop all the enemies here. So there we go. We've already crushed one of the missile units. We'll go for the second one. The enemy might have 2 ships down there that we have to deal with, but so far we're doing okay. Now this I don't like. Heavy infantry approaching. We're going to target them. They're going for our general, for our legatus. So we're going to move the legatus up the hill. And I'm going to move our evocati cohort. They're very tired. Oh, no, 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 no. Got out of way just in time. Although I think we gave the enemy a scare, to say the least. And we'll use these cavalry, but we're only going to use them when we've got these guys locked in combat. So right now they're really trying to stay away from our men. Looks like they want to join their brothers in death. And I'm more than happy and more than willing to give them that wish. And look at those javelins. That guy got one right in his face. Just a beautiful smash there. We'll even bring in the legatus for this. Charge, legatus. Inspire your men. Boom. And these are heavy, heavy Egyptian infantry, but I feel confident that we can finish them off. We're even going to charge in our units, or some of our missile units anyway, are out of ammunition. And there we go. Off they go to join the dead. Very nice attack here. I believe we have finished off everybody on top of this hill. Indeed, we have. We might still have some enemy units down there, but I don't see any. They may have just taken off and tried to run away as far as possible. Maybe take a trip down the Nile and head to another part of Africa, because right now this is going to be Cleopatra's Africa, and there's no room for friends of Ptolemy. So there we go. We're smashing into what I think is the last group of enemies, using the Pontic Royal Cavalry here to help us. I don't see a single enemy left, but I could be wrong.
Commander, Ptolemy's army has been put to the sword, and word has it that he himself has met his end at the bottom of the Nile.
Glory.
A great day.
That is it, baby. We have done it. Ptolemy's army shattered. We've got a victory as far as I know, and that is certainly a victory. A costly victory, but a victory nonetheless. We'll end our battle, of course, and let's take a look there at the losses. We lost 1639, killed 1,416 of the enemy, plus 304 on the ships. Pretty even losses for both sides, but a victory is a victory nonetheless, and on we go to victory again. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the Battle of the Nile. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and if you want to see some more Total War videos, make sure to let me know. Take care, guys, and have an awesome, awesome day.